Hello, let's start Lab 4, Part 2. The first question is reading from a file. Create a text file to create a text file in Notepad. Type in or copy and paste any 10 lines in the text file and save it. The name of the file doesn't matter. Write a Java program that will ask the user to enter the file name, create created previously. The program will then display only the first 5 lines of the file's content. Your program must use a loop to complete the file reading process. Okay, let's get started. So I've already created the file. Give me just a moment. I've already created this file when I was trying to figure out what to call it and what to write in it. Let me share what's in this file with you. Give me just a moment. Okay, you can see my 10 lines. I just made these up. I said, hi, my name is Taylor Lane and I like dogs. Okay, that's what's in that file. I'm going to close it now. Now let's start our coding. I might not talk the whole time while I'm doing this. I might not talk the whole time. Might not talk the whole time. So that's okay. Let me get started. I'm gonna explain at the very end. Okay. Let us see. This is all the other projects on the side over here. Okay, let's close that. And let's finish typing everything. I have to import my scanner class so I can use it. It's been imported up here. The little light bulbs on the side tell me if something needs to be imported, so I just clicked it, and that's how it was imported. Fine. Copying, pasting this one from up here so that there are no typos. File name, there we go. I'm making it very generic and simple. When I import another class, the Java IO file class, so that I can use this line here. I'll explain everything at the end. I'm going to start my if statement. I'm just copying the name from up here. I'm gonna just copy the name file reader from here so that everything has the same name. Okay, let us continue. Okay, let's start explaining from the top, line by line. Okay, this line here, this imports the file class for the file for file handling. And then this one is the little exception. And then this one here imports the scanner class for the user input and reading the file. This line, it creates a scanner object for reading the user's input. And then down here, I'm trying to prompt the user to enter a file name. And then here, this reads the file name entered by the user. And then this creates a file object using the user user's like the name that the user inputted. Okay. This this whole little section over here is just checking if the file exists. So that's what this little part is for. And then this right here is creating a new scanner object to read the the information inside of that file. And then here, right here, I think I'm gonna just put a space right there. So space between this, there's its own little thing. Here, I'm initializing a counter for the number of lines to be read. And then down here, I'm using a loop to read and display the first 5 lines in the file. Excuse me. Whew. Uh-huh. And then this line right here is counting until there are no more lines or 5 lines have been read. Then we're going to go down to this portion right here. This reads the next line from the file. And this increments the line count, which is up here, just by 1. And then down here, this will, this will, okay, so this else statement is if the file does not exist, it will show this print statement here. I forgot to close the file reader at the top. Give me a moment. I'm just copying it from up here. I'll read her that close. There we go. And that's that. Let's run it real quick. Let me save and run it. And boom. So it's asking the user to enter a file name. I named the file new and the number one. EW, spell it wrong, EW space one dot txt. It says the file's not found. I was unable to get it to find the file, but so far it works. Something's better than nothing. Moving on to the next thing. I'm going to stop sharing really quick so that I can read you what the next question is. Okay, so let's go over what the next question will be. The next question is question 2. Reading and writing files. This one was kind of difficult. Okay, write a Java program that asks the user to enter two file names. The first file is the same one you created in question 1. Basically, the one I named new one.txt and should be open for reading. The second file should open for writing. The program will read the contents of the first file, change the characters of the odd line numbers to uppercase, and store the result in the second file. Our professor told us about the method called uppercase in the notes. He told us how to execute this. Now, let's do the coding for this. Let me share my screen again. Can you see my screen? I think it should be right here. Okay. Let's start. Getting a little silly. Let's get it started. Scanner got out. No. That's something else. I'm gonna call this one input 2. I'm gonna explain each line after I'm done. I'm not gonna go into super detail about each and every line. I'm just gonna tell you what it's doing. Input. Hold on. I'm just creating a new scanner object up here. Okay, let's continue. first, we're going to prompt the user for input. So let's do that. Okay, so there we go. We have it right there. So first, we're gonna ask user to enter the first file name. What do I want to say? The first one, and then gonna hold that in. We're gonna prompt the user for input again. I'm gonna just copy it from up here. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to finish typing this out. For our string portion, just copy it from here so I don't have to keep writing as much. Just change around the name. I'm just copying it from here. I just needed to reference the book real quick. Give me a moment. Um, there we go. If you want to know where I found this portion of the code, I found this on page 410, code listing 4-21 in chapter 4, file sum2.java. That's where the example comes from. Okay, let's continue. Yeah. I'm gonna have to import the file writer class. Give me a moment. Oops, and create a class. I did not import the class. I created a whole nother thing. Okay, I fixed that issue real quick. Ooh, excuse me. Let's continue. I'm gonna do file writer, file reader. Darwish. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, let's explain the code from the tippy top. Make sure you can see all of it too. In just a moment. Okay, so we're starting at the top. Okay, on this line, we're creating a new scanner object. Then we're prompting the user for input. So we're basically asking, hey, put enter the name of the input file. So basically, new one.txt is the name of that file. And then this line here will read the input file from the user. And then we're going to prompt the user for the name of the output file. And then this line is going to read the output file from what the user inputted. Here, you're going to create a file object for both input and output files. So on this one, we're asking, we're basically, this represents the input file, this represents the output file. Let's keep it pushing. And then here, down here, we're checking if the file exists. And this will say if the file does not exist. This right here will exit the program if the file does not exist. This here is declaring the scanner for reading the file. This is declaring the scanner. This is declaring the file writer for the writing, for writing to the output file. And here I'm going to attempt to initialize the file reader and writer. So on this line, I created a scanner to read the input. And on this line, I created a file writer to write to the output file. Okay, and here I initialize a counter to track the line numbers. Here, in this while loop, I'm going to attempt to read and process each line from the input file. You know, the file I showed at the very beginning with the, uh, what is it? The little the words already inside the file. Excuse me. So let me explain this line here. This line creates a while continues while there are more lines in the file. The next line reads the next line from the input file, and here it's checking if the number is odd, if the line in the file is odd. That's what it's checking for. And this is converting the odd number lines to uppercase, and this line here is adding a new line after each line. And this line here is basically incrementing the line number counter so that it goes up by one. And this line here is telling the user that telling the users the contents has been written to the output file, like that the information was written to the output file. And then here, we're closing the scanner for input. We're closing the scanner we're closing the file writer for the output file, okay? And then we're closing the scanner for the user input. They all connect, okay? Now let's see if it runs. Let's go. Okay, so it's asking for a name. I'm going to put next. Oops, why is it typing down there? That's weird. Next, new, NEW, space one dot join dot txt. Then it's asking me for another one. I'm gonna call it odd. Oddline dot txt. Error? What's the error? Okay, I figured it out. I just misspelled one of the words. Okay, let's do it again. NEW space one dot txt. Enter. And I'm gonna call this one odd line. Odd line dot txt. Not found. Okay. It was not able to find the file. And I don't know how to fix that. So let me open this fully and scroll through everything again. There we go. Oh, let me open this so that it can be seen on the side. Like that. There we go. Let's move on to the next thing. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec so that I can read the instructions. Give me a moment so that I may read the instructions. Okay, random integer. So I'm supposed to be writing a program that will write 5,000 random integers in the range from 0 to 1,000. to a file named numbers, random numbers.txt. Then the program will read the file and do the following. Write, write the even numbers in a new file named even numbers. Write the odd numbers in a file named odd numbers. And then you're going to write the following statistics in a new file called stats.txt for all of them. So I already created these files in my, I already created these files. Let me share my whole screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, can you see me? Okay, there we go. You can. I'm trying to share my entire screen. Why is it not working? I'm gonna pause this so I can get it to work. Now that I have my whole screen pulled up, I do believe. Do I have my whole screen pulled up? Let me check. I do. Okay, you should be able to see. So now that I have my whole screen pulled up, as you can see here, I already created those files in this area right here. I already created those files. Well, I didn't create them, but in the code they were created. So these files are just going to update. Huh? Let me share my screen. What's going on? Glitching. You see it? There it goes. Okay. Now let's write the code for this. For the random numbers. Let me get this. Okay. First, we're going to create files to store all these different things. So give me a moment. I'll explain at the end each line. I'll copy this for the amount of files left. I think that should be enough. Now let's name it. Just trying to copy and paste it so I don't have to keep writing it over and over. Just change them slightly. All right. So this one's going to store the random numbers. This one's going to store the even numbers, is going to store the odd numbers, and this is going to store the statistics from the even and odd numbers. So basically, it's going to tell you which one's even, which one's odd. Yeah. The E and the W are really close together. Did I spell random wrong? Oh, I did. See, this is what happened last time. Spell something. I was just going through to make sure I spelled them right. Excuse me. Work that file writer class. Import the scanner. Okay, let me get back to it. Scanner. I got this portion example from page 377 from the total sales.java example in chapter 4.
This is the same as appears. That's, ooh, I spelled it all that wrong. Excuse me.
I'm gonna retype this. Now I'm going to go through and explain each part of the code. Give me a moment. Give me just a moment. Okay, let's go all the way up to the top. Okay, in the first few ones in this section here, oh, space right here. In this section here, I am creating files. So this one, this is where the random numbers are going to be stored. This is where the even numbers are going to be stored. Odd numbers are going to be stored. And the stats from the even and odd are going to be stored. I'm just creating new text files. And then on this line, I'm creating a random object for generating random numbers. Okay, down here, I am initializing the counter for even and odd numbers. And down here, this is declaring the file writer for the random numbers. Here on this line, let me make the file a little bigger so that we can see everything. Okay, so random numbers. Oh my God, I just blanked. So bad, I just blanked. Let's pause the recording so I can get my thoughts together. I blanked. Okay, I think I have my thoughts together now. I don't know why I blanked. Okay, this line here is to create a file writer for writing random numbers to a file. This loop is to generate and write 5,000 random numbers. This line here will generate a random number between 0 and 1,000. This line here writes a random number to the file, followed by a new line. That's what this \n is for. Then down here on this line, this is checking this whole if else statement here. It's checking if the number is even or odd and incrementing the respective and incrementing at the end, okay? So this line here is, that's basically what we're doing. This is incrementing the even count, the even numbers. This is incrementing the odd numbers. Okay, scrolling down. We're closing the random number writer file. Basically, we're closing that file. And then we're going to scroll down here to this one here. Scroll over just a little bit. For this one here, we are creating a file writer for even numbers and we're creating a file writer for odd numbers. Then we're going to create a scanner to read those random numbers into file. Then we're going to create a loop to read each line from the file. This line here will read the next line and convert the integer or number, basically. as stated before in the recording, I said where I got this particular part from. And here, this little if statement, I feel like there should be a space. In this if statement, I am writing to the file based on whether the number is even or odd. So it's going to be writing the even number to the even numbers.txt. And this is going to be writing the odd numbers to odd numbers.txt. And then down here, we're just closing all these files. We're closing the file reader file. We're closing file reader. We're closing even writer and odd writer. And then, excuse me, we are going to, after we close those files, we still have to do the stats file after doing all of that. So we have to write statistics to the stats file. So that's what this line is creating a file writer for the stats file. And then this line here is writing the counts of the even and odd numbers to the statistics file. So this line is doing the count for even, and this one's doing it for odd. And then we're going to close the stat writer file and then do a printout at the very end that random numbers were generated. That random numbers were generated and files were created successfully to let the user know. Okay, let's run this. Well, let's save it first and then run it. Let's run it real quick. Ooh, it is upset. Give me just a moment. Okay, here we are. We're running it. It says that everything was done successfully. Now, let me share my files. Give me a moment. Let me pause sharing so that I can share my files. I know it just looks black. It looks like there's just a black screen. But let me pause sharing so I can open my files. Because when I do it with it showing like the full thing, I can't open my files for some reason. I don't know. So now that I have that, let me share my file. And share. Here we are. Okay, so these are the files. I'm gonna go over to where I keep most of them anyway. So I have the files in here. I'll scroll down to the particular one I'm talking about. Here it is. So I have even, oh, you can't see me. Ooh, can't see the file. What the heck? I haven't. Here it is. Oops, that was an accident. Okay, now you should be able to see the files in here. Okay, so I have the even, odd, and random numbers. So let's open the random numbers first. Maybe it'll be easier if I can just share my whole screen. Ooh, hopefully I can still open my files. Okay, you should be able to see everything, right? Right. Okay, you are. Okay. So this is the random numbers file here. And as you can see, it has all these different random numbers. Now let's open the even one. Okay, now it opened the even numbers. So it has all of these different ones. They're ranging from different numbers. And then let's open the odd one. And now we're in the odd numbers file, as you can see. And let's open the stats file. As you can see, it says the number of even values is this many, and the number of odd values is this many. Okay, that's all. Bye bye.